A large-scale special operation to identify and detain Russian mercenaries who took part in the hostilities in Donbass on the side of illegal armed groups started back between 2018 and 2019. Such data was obtained by the Bellingcat investigation team. According to their report, at the first stage, Ukrainian intelligence officers managed to find information about hundreds of mercenaries and then elaborated a plan to recruit several of them through a shell private military contractor.
By early 2020, it had morphed into an opportunistic sting operation targeting hundreds of former mercenaries idling away during the COVID-19 lockdown in their hometowns and villages across Russia. This final operational scenario was, according to three former security officers who spoke to Bellingcat, presented to and approved by Ukraine's political leadership in early July 2020. It included the capture and detention of 33 mercenaries by staging the emergency landing on Ukrainian soil of an aircraft carrying the targets to their fictitious deployment destination. Report of the Bellingcat investigation team.
The investigation showed that during the so-called employment of the mercenaries, the Ukrainian special services forced them to submit a CV with information about their combat experience. So they got evidence, including photos and videos of their crimes in Donbass. Minsk, the capital of Belarus, became the starting point for sending mercenaries. On July 25, 2020, they were brought to Belarus and were to be put on a plane the next day. But the departure was postponed, and on July 29th, the militants who were waiting at the hotel near Minsk were detained by the Belarusian security forces. Later, Alexander Lukashenko handed them over to Russia. The operation failed. Vasyl Burba, who was then in charge of the military intelligence of Ukraine, says that he received the order to postpone the last phase from head of the president's office, Andriy Yermak. He told about this on the air of one of Ukrainian talk shows on November the 19th.
We did not have a written order. We had a person delegated by the president. We received an order from him, an order from the president of Ukraine. Vasyl Burba, head of the Main Intelligence Directorate of the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine in 2016-2020, on the air of Savik Shuster's Freedom of Speech talk show on November 19.
At the same time, former and current security officials say the head of intelligence is not subordinate to the head of the president's office by law.
Only President of Ukraine provides orders for such complex operations. The head of military intelligence cannot carry out any until he has received specific and direct instructions from the President of Ukraine.
The information that the Wagner's group servicemen captured in Minsk were connected with the Ukrainian special operation was made public by journalists at the end of August. The media and opposition politicians have stated that it was the president's office that was to blame for the disruption of the operation. Allegedly, information leaked from there.
We want to hear the answers to the questions. What happened? Why did they postpone it? What happened in those days between the operation was postponed and how the Wagner's mercenaries were arrested by the KGB of Belarus? Why did Zelensky then call Lukashenko? What did he want from him? Whether he called before? That is, there are many questions and we, unfortunately, do not hear the answers.
However, the Bellingcat did not find an answer to the question of the reasons for the failure of the operation. It is also highly likely that the Belarusian security forces did not initially know whom they detained. Therefore, there might be no data drain. Members of the Temporary Investigative Commission, which was created in the Ukrainian parliament, did not find any confirmation of the involvement of the office of the president in the disruption of the operation either.
Based on the intelligence data, not a single document either by investigation or intelligence officers confirms that the leak was from the Ukrainian side. That is, there is no such fact. Moreover, there are no documents that could prove that president giving any orders on the matter.
At the same time, former head of the Foreign Intelligence Service Mykola Malumush says, in Ukraine dozens of special operations were carried out, both successful and unsuccessful, and the results of most of them were not publicly reported. As for the Wagner operation, it was risky, and its failure could have happened due to the many miscalculations during its organization.
Taking risks with an airplane is a very multifaceted, problematic situation. It happened in Minsk itself because there was destabilization. The Russian special services could have controlled the situation at the final stage. This had to be considered as well.
Now, the reasons that led to failure of the operation are being investigated by the State Bureau of Investigation. They also check the sources of leakage of documents on the activities of the special services. Reported by Vadim Kramer and Yulia Krychkova, UATV News.